Hello and welcome to a new video. In today's video we want to take a look at a special team here. This is going to be the current rank 1 team on PvPoke with Shadow Gligar as the lead. Shadow Gligar at the same breath I think is also the best Pokemon that PvPoke generally suggests for the current meta in the Go Battle League, and for sure it is going to be one of the most balanced and most strongest one in like so many different matchups, I would say. Like you're going to have of course a double ice weakness, which only gets exploited really by some odd Ice Punch users like maybe an Annihilate or Dusclops. Dusclops is most likely the most common Ice Punch user, but otherwise only really gets exploited by a Pokemon like the Dugong. But Dugong isn't that common currently, at least. It's not completely gone from the meta, but it's not that common. There are Pokemon like Lapras that are a little bit more common, which are also problematic for the Gligar, but like, yeah, Lapras is easier to deal with, or like you do more damage against Lapras still than compared to a Dugong. Anyway, we're going to have Lapras on the team here as well. We're going to have the Shadow variant. They suggest the normal variant. My normal variant had already, the Legacy move Ice Beam. I didn't want to get rid of that one, so I just built a Shadow version here that was shiny, just because why not? Was close to the level already anyway. I think I actually had it at the level, just need to give it some other charge and fast moves. And so yeah, that was kind of the cheaper option, it is a cooler option, and we have kinda like an all pink-purple team here today as well, which is kinda nice as well, just as a color theme. Anyway, we're going to see here the power already of Gligar, being able to take hits, being able to do some nice damage now with a fast move, and the opponent decides to forfeit while we have 2 shields left. Next opponent, this is actually going to be the first battle that I did with this team, where I still had to kind of figure out some of the stuff here. I haven't really played Gligar that much. I played it, I think, for one video before this season. But yeah, Gligar definitely a very cool Pokemon. Here we're gonna see the swap out into the Jellicent, and honestly, knowing that there's a Dragalge in the back, I don't really need alignment. I have 2 good Pokemon still that can deal with Dragalge. Drapion is, to be fair, more my worst Pokemon to deal with Dragalge, I feel like. So yeah, as we will see that they're gonna get to another Surf, I actually don't really care too much, and I'm just gonna get the energy here now on my Lapras, because I know if they get to a move, it's gonna be a Surf. Surf we resist. And like this, we're gonna be in a very solid position. We're gonna have the Primeape coming in, where we can just go ahead and go for a charge move. It's a normal Primeape, which makes it a little bit easier for us here as well. And they're gonna go straight for the Rage Fist, so I should be just no shielding here. I'm still shielding, makes it a little more safe, I guess. But as long as I'm gonna get the final shield here, I'm going to be alright. I'm gonna swap into my Gligar then, but I know that the opponent will most likely predict it, and so I decided to go for the Dig instead, because I know I was in such a positive position there that I didn't need to risk anything, and with that, we're gonna be able to win this battle, again, with the coverage of Gligar. Being a flying and ground type is honestly quite handy. And it does make sense that those types together are really solid, because if you think about it here with the Pokemon that we face there, Flying, very good against the Grass-type Pokemon, and now with the buffed Fury Cutter, you also have even more damage against those Grass-type Pokemon that Ground types don't really want to face. Ground types also don't really want to face like Water and Ice, of course, but like Ice is kind of bad for us. Water is still kind of alright because of the pacing that we have with this Pokemon. But generally speaking here, for example, against this Water-type Pokemon, we're going to have a very solid matchup here, whereas we have the fast move pressure that's going to apply against the opponent. Actually, at this point, forgot what they had in the back. I would have played a bit differently if I remembered what they had in the back, but it actually still worked out because I was able to catch the move here. I am going to use a shield here, and again, I would have played my Lapras completely different if I remembered what they had in the back there. Here with the Superior, we're still going to be in a very solid position because they cannot one-shot us here. We're still going to get to another crunch, and we will be able to win this battle like that as well, because even though Lapras isn't great against Greninja, it is still actually kinda neutral against it because of the bulk that we have, and yeah, the water type damage being resisted. Here we're gonna try to catch the move. Is it going to be the Night Slash? It is going to be the Hydro Cannon, it doesn't really matter. We're gonna try to win without showing even our Lapras, and that worked out quite well here, as we're gonna take another game home. So, not every game can go perfect. Let's see if the next opponent is going to have a bit more of a tougher team for us to deal with, and that is going to be the case here indeed. We're going to have the Dusclops, and I could even swap into the Lapras trying to catch the Ice Punch. I did this, I tried to do that, it did not work. We're still going to get at least a shield advantage against the opponent, as they're going to reveal that they have Primeape here in the back. I was hoping they at least still get to another charge move before they can fully farm me down, though, where I wasn't too sure if this is going to be the case. And as you guys see here, with the damage output that they have, they're actually going to be able to do that. And funnily enough, if you would have had the normal Lapras, they would have not been able to do that, which would have actually helped you out quite a bit. So maybe the normal Lapras actually would be better for this team here as well. just in order to deal with those Pokemon a little bit better. Could definitely be the case. Shadow Lapras is definitely not needed. It is definitely not a Pokemon that you have to have. The normal Lapras does kinda a similar job there as well. Here we're going to see the opponent having the Diggersby. I was able to catch the move here, which is the only way I have a chance of still winning this battle. While still, I am not too sure if there is still a chance. But as you can see, we have the Aerial Ace coming through against the opponent now. That is going to be quite lovely, as we're going to get the shield from the opponent. And now, shieldless, we could go for a dig. I still decided to go for the Aerial Aces here. But as we will see, we're going to use a shield against the opponent. It is going to be the Ice Punch coming through. And I'm going to try to catch the move. It does kind of work out. The opponent still goes for the charge move. I need to go for a dig though in order to knock them out. And so I have to overfarm by a bit. I just reached the dig as the opponent reaches their Ice Punch. And this is going to be it for this one. I still made it quite close though. I think if I had one more turn somewhere with my Gligar, I would have won this battle. And for getting kind of walled, that was kind of nice. And funnily enough, I haven't seen Dugong all season. I faced, I think, 2 or 3 Dugongs with this team. Which, again, could be also just that the meta kind of shifts. I see some Pokemon recently being a bit better and more common in the meta, where Dugong is actually quite solid against, so could be just a meta adaptation. Like, I'm not gonna say with anything there, but it could just be a meta adaptation. I saw Pokemon like Drifblim, for example, rising. Pokemon like Gligar, for example, rising in popularity. So I could just see that Dugong is going to have a comeback in the current meta, which would be alright. Just maybe unfortunate timing for me to try out this team right now, because there were actually quite a lot of Dugongs around. And as we will see here, this is not really looking too great for us. In comes Dedenne. This team is actually kind of cool against Dedenne because your lead is very good against it. Your Say-Swap is still neutral against it. Does super effective fast move pressure, but can only go for the Awkward Tail. And you know what's kind of funny? I went for the CMP tie here. If I would have got the CMP tie win in this specific matchup, I actually would have won the entire battle as well. But because they got that one Parabolic charge off before me, they survive with just a few HP left here, which will allow them to get the damage on me here, which is not going to be enough to knock us out. But as you will see, it's going to be enough to put us into the range for the Dugong. I still actually then at this point, I would have not been able to win the battle if 2 drill runs are enough against our Lapras. That could have been a bit of an issue as well. Anyway, we're going to see a funny thing here. We're going to see the Clodsire in the lead, and we're going to see here the Feraligatr swapping in. Feraligatr, a Pokemon that should be good against us. But because we pace at the exact same speed to our charge moves, I know that I'm always going to be able to outspeed them here, as the opponent is going to be always 1 turn behind because I needed to swap. And so I am in a very positive position as I can now realign myself guaranteed. But the opponent plays it still kind of smart here as I decide to go into the Clodsire. This will allow them to catch the move here. And I felt like I should be able to... I feel like I lacked 1 or 2 turns there while doing the fast moves, but I will be able to catch the move. Smart me was able to catch a Stone Edge. I actually thought I would have been able to outspeed them with a dig there. But never mind, actually it makes sense that they outspeed us. They generate energy 1 more per 2 turns, so like half energy more per turn. And they only need 5 more energy compared to our dig, so I guess they should outspeed us. So I think everything is going to go alright there as well again. Here we're going to have the Mandibuzz coming in. We're going to be able to go for the Sparkling Area. We still keep our Lapras, which might help us later. I'm not too sure yet. But what we will see here is that the opponent's going to go for the Aerial Aces, which is not ideal. But luckily they're running Snarl instead of Air Slash. I've seen people running Air Slash on Mandibuzz. And to be fair, I feel like Air Slash is the only real reason why you would want to run Mandibuzz. Especially over the recent meta update towards the Galarian Moltres, with Fly being added on that moveset. If you want to have like kinda more of a dark type thing there here, you would rather go for the Moltres, but if you want to get the flying type fast move pressure, you would go for the Mandibuzz in my opinion, which also then helps Mandibuzz in the Moltres mirror matchup. So I do actually think that the Snarl version of Mandibuzz in the current meta is maybe not the ideal play. Here though, we were able to survive with 1 HP, get to the Awkward Tail and still win the battle. I do think if you want to have rather Dark type attacker, I would rather go for your Moltres. If you want to have more something that has flying type pressure and be good against other Moltres, you would rather go for Mandibuzz with Air Slash. But that is just my opinion. Of course, it doesn't mean that Snarl Mandibuzz is a bad Pokemon whatsoever. That absolutely doesn't mean it. I just do think that if you want to run Mandibuzz, I would rather go for the air such version. And of course, if you only have the Moltres available. If you don't have Moltres available, Star makes sense as well. But again, too much talking about Mandibus. Here we're going to have the Quagsire, and this is very tough for us to deal with Quagsire because our lead and our Sasop kind of struggle with it. And so we were able to catch the move, but we're also getting just completely hardwalled the entire game through. So yeah, what am I really supposed to do here? I'm not too sure. I should be able to outspeed them here with the Aerial Ace. That's at least going to be good. And this is going to be allowing us to get the KO against them. That's cool. We still have a shield disadvantage. We have a shield advantage here. The opponent still has a Pokemon advantage. There's still the Quagsire. Our shield advantage is going to go down now here. We're going to outspeed them though, usually. But as they're going to reveal the Pidgeot in the back that they already showed us in the beginning, we're going to lose the battle anyway. So Magcargo is an interesting Pokemon. You might think that's going to be a great one for us. We're going to have a ground type against a fire and a rock type Pokemon. Turns out the opponent actually going to outspeed us on the 2 shields, I think. Because they only need 10 turns for their second charge move. They need 15 for the first and 10 for the second. And as you see, I actually let the move go. And it was the Overheat straight away, which I didn't expect. I expected them to go for the Rock Tomb. Cool play though from the opponent. As you will see here, the Arachnid coming in. That should be just a Bubble Beam, and what I will do here is now I will take advantage of the scenario. What I can do is I can go ahead, get a ton of energy on my Drapier, and now just go for the full farm down with my Lapras. They're gonna try to go, of course, for the debuffing moves here with the Bubble Beam, but I should be able to build up a ton of energy that will then allow me later on to, swap out when I need to, which is going to be very, very cool. As I can see here now as well here that we can go for the Skull Bash, which allows us to take the hits a bit better. They are running the fast move of Shadow Claw on their Golisopod, and that's a cool backline. Golisopod I recommend, cool backline, still kinda want to play it as well. But as we see here, we are going to be able to use a shield against the opponent. Exodus coming through. We're going to be able to go for the full farm down, and let's see what's coming in next. It's going to be the Magcargo, and I can go for one fast move and that Awkward Tail, which now allows me to go for another Awkward Tail, but they catch the move onto the Arachnid, and you see here I am going to undercharge, which now allows me to get some energy onto my Lapras, and this is the energy that I needed to still get to another charge move here as well. So I could have even undercharged a little bit further, I think, but this will be perfectly fine, as even a debuffed Sparkling Area easy is going to be enough from this range, and we can move on to the next opponent. We start with the second to last battle with a great lead and a great Sasop force as well. It's going to be the Annihilate hopping in, and I just need to have some damage onto them, and that's all that I really care about. And I get the damage on them, because now I can try to catch the Ice Punch onto my Lapras, but no matter what they want to go for, unless it's a close combat, we should be able to just farm them down before they can knock us out, and we just end up here with a scenario where I can't actually do it, because I survive with a 1 HP in a dream. Annoying, but I still hopefully gonna get my shield back. It's going to be the Marowak. I can go for the Hydro Cannon. And they decide to the Sparkling Area, and they decide to let the move go. They have like 1 HP left now, and we will have now Drapion against the Drifblim. Drifblim with an energy advantage is a very scary Pokemon in the current meta. This is something that we have to be a bit mindful of, as we will see here that we can still go for another charge move, but yeah, the Awkward Tail is going to get the shield, which is kind of great. I can go for another charge move here, but I kind of have to try to win with my Gligar, because at this point they would be able to knock us out soon. But as we will see, they actually didn't want to risk us to get to another charge move. They go for a charge move themselves, which is lovely, and now we have a shield advantage Gligar. But our fast move is double resisted, but they still decide somehow to forfeit here, as you see in the bottom right, as we get more quest encounters there, and we can move on to the final battle of today's video, where we face an interesting meta Pokemon from old time meta, which is going to be, of course, the Nidoqueen. And I make a bit of a mistake, and here again, I do actually think that the non-Shadow Lapras is better for this team with the move Skull Bash. Because we see here again a matchup where if we would have had the non-Shadow version of this Pokemon, we actually had a better matchup, because we would have been able to survive the 2 Play-Roughs quite easily. So now I decide to use a shield here against the Play-Rough, go for the Skull Bash, expecting that I would still survive another Play-Rough here, and so I try to go for the full farm down, but even with a defense boost, we are not going to be able to do that, and so I just wasted a ton of energy, and I only have 1 answer against the 1 Pokemon from the opponent, but they stop out into the Drifblim, and with that, I kinda screwed over the game for myself. I get the shield though, which is kinda nice. They go into the Nidoqueen, and it's gonna be a very tough battle for myself. So let's see on if this is going to go okay here. We're gonna get to another Awkward Tail. This will allow us to get the shield from the opponent, I would assume. And it does, and so let's see on how this is gonna go next. We will see the opponent going for the Poison Fang. That is alright. And we can shield up the next move, which is going to be another Poison Fang. We're still going to have, with that, our Pokemon left, our Drapion. We have a Crunch stored for the Drifblim. I think I will see in P-Tai, and the opponent knows it as well, and so they decide to forfeit. This is going to be it for this video. This is the #1 team from PvPoke. I do think with the normal Lapras, it actually works a little bit better now in retrospective. It's a cool team to run, and yeah, very safe team to run generally in the current meta. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I will see you then. Bye bye.